As we discussed earlier, we said that financial intermediation, it means accepting money from someone who has money in surplus and giving it to person or an entity which is in need of money, is the role of a bank, which is in economic parlance called as financial intermediation. In the first topic, we also discussed that though a bank takes 100 rupees for example from a customer, it cannot give this complete 100 rupees as advance to any entity. It may be an individual, a corporate, or a company, or a government for that matter. It means that RBI is putting some embargoes on how much this money can be given further in the form of loans and advances. One such tool which RBI has with it is known as the cash reserve ratio. For example, this 100 rupees which the State Bank of India received as deposit, this 100 rupees the State Bank of India received as deposits, right? Now, the State Bank of India, if it wants to lend, I told you it cannot lend this complete 100 rupees. So, what the RBI says is, out of this 100 rupees, 3 rupees, that is percentage wise, 3% of 100 comes to 3 rupees. So, 3 rupees the State Bank of India has to deposit with Reserve Bank of India in the form of cash. So, it means that State Bank of India would be left with only 97 rupees now. And one important dimension here we need to understand is, when this money was deposited with Reserve Bank of India in the form of cash deposit, the RBI is not duty bound to give any interest to this particular bank. It means that the bank cannot earn any money on this 3 rupees. Now, the bank is left with how much? 97 rupees. Now, the RBI also says that not only CRR, one more important dimension, by saying that about a particular tool of monetary policy which is called as statutory liquidity ratio. What the RBI says is that whenever you are wanting to generate any money out of that 97 rupees that you have, you need to keep a particular portion, or you need to use this money to buy certain things only. It may be gold, it may be the bonds of the government, it could be any asset which the RBI may classify, or it can also keep it in the form of cash. But this amount of money, gold, bonds, or the RBI instruments, the bank need not deposit with RBI. The deposition is not essential. Only the investment in this classification of assets is mandated. It means out of that 97 rupees, certain percentage of money, this particular commercial bank can either use that money to buy gold for itself, it can use to buy some bonds issued by the government or the Reserve Bank of India, any other security which the Reserve Bank might issue in future, or it can keep it in the form of cash with itself. It need not physically send this to the Reserve Bank of India. So, the statutory liquidity ratio, the percentage of the statutory liquidity ratio that the RBI has mandated is 18%. Is 18%. So, 3 rupees gone in CRR and your 18 rupees gone in SLR. The total amount of money, that is 100 minus 21, that is 79 rupees only. Now, the commercial bank or any bank for that matter is now left with only 79 rupees to further go and give it to someone in the form of loans and advances. So, 100 rupees became 79 rupees. Here some earnings will happen. But however, in CRR there is no earning happening. Why? Because the RBI does not pay any interest to commercial banks. on the CRR deposits that it holds, right? One more thing you need to understand, the CRR that we have 3% today was very high couple of decades back. 1.5, 2 decades back, the CRR was as high as 15 to 20%. The SLR was as high as 35 to 38%. It means over a period of time, the Reserve Bank of India is allowing more and more money available with a commercial bank to play around and do its own business of financial intermediation. So there are certain standards which RBI looks into before determining what should be the CRR, what should be the SLR. These are very two important topics related to CRR and SLR. Another important topic related to another important topic in continuation to this particular topic is your repo rate, REPO, repo rate. Repo is repurchase. The full form of repo is repurchase rate. See, what happens is, many a times it so happens that I told you the bank is mandated to keep this, the bank is mandated to keep this. It may so happen that at any given point of time, the bank may be falling short of certain funds to meet these obligations and certain other obligations as prescribed by RBI. So in this particular situation, the Reserve Bank of India provides a window to the commercial bank to come to Reserve Bank of India and take that money as a loan overnight. Very important you need to understand is, it is just an overnight credit facility to ensure that it is just a overnight credit facility to ensure that its assets and liabilities, if at all there are any mismatches, they can be met. So there is an interest rate which the RBI charges while giving this kind of what you call loan assistance to the commercial banks, and presently the repo rate as fixed by the Reserve Bank of India is 4%. It means using this window of repo rate, the commercial bank can take overnight loan from Reserve Bank of India to manage its assets and liabilities mismatches by paying 4% of interest. And the second important tool that the RBI has is a reverse repo. It is called a reverse repo rate. The reverse repo rate is, say for example, I told you this is a purchase obligation. There is a repurchase obligation. It means that definitely after one day RBI has to take that money back from the bank, and that is the reason why the credit facility is only one day. There is a repurchase obligation by the RBI. The bank, the commercial bank has to pay that money back to the State Bank of India. Now, as we discuss the next topic, the reverse repo rate, the reverse repurchase obligation, the rate fixed by RBI presently is 3.35%. Now, what happens is, in an economy, there might be time when the State Bank of India feels that I have some additional funds with me which is over and above my statutory obligations, and I want to park this additional money that is available with me with RBI. So in that case, the State Bank of India deposits this money with RBI or gives the money to RBI at a predetermined rate of interest, which is 3.35%. So that is how the additional money from State Bank of India moves to the regulator, Reserve Bank of India. So these are two important tools that are used by the Reserve Bank of India to regulate the money supply in the market. We will try to understand if an amount of certain change in this repo rate and reverse repo rate, how it will affect the availability of money in the market. Say I told you 4% is the repo rate which the RBI is charging to State Bank of India. If this is made 5%, just imagine a 1% increase in the repo rate, it will increase the cost of borrowing by the State Bank of India. 1% might seem very less to you and me or any company, but when it comes to the amount of money that is taken under repo rate, then money is very big amount. So 1% increase, what SBI will do is, it will not take money from RBI. So this will result in contraction of money supply or contraction of money supply in the market. That is how by changing the repo rate and the reverse repo rate, RBI tries to control the money supply in the market. That is how it tries to control the money supply in the market. That is why CRR and SLR are deemed to be very important tools of monetary policy. This brings us to the next topic of our discussion, which is nothing but monetary policy. We will understand what is monetary policy, what is the difference between monetary policy and the fiscal policy, why RBI is doing this particular function, why government is not doing. All these dimensions we will cover in the next lecture. Thank you very much.